the big discussion today is going to be all about making money on cloud. So ladies and gentlemen, within the next couple of minutes, we're going to be getting the speaker on. And as always, at the end, we hopefully will take, because I mean, maybe it's something that you want to use in the business, give you an opportunity to ask the question and interact. So without any further ado, Dmitry Chikhachev, your next speaker, will be here. We're just waiting for him to line up. Have you guys found this interesting? Have you learned a lot, you know, just engaging, listening to all the speakers? Have you found it quite interesting? Great. Oh, there he is. Let's put your hands together.
Hello, guys.
Good. Welcome.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you. Okay, nice seeing you here. And today we have I think, a brilliant set of panelists who will speak about the cloud. Let me invite to the stage Alexandra Turcotte, Maxwell Capital, Israeli-Russia investor. Actually, Israeli-Ukrainian investor. Bakhrom Ibragimov from EBRD. EBRD venture arm, direct investments. And Michał Borkowski from Brainly, Poland.
Oh, what was wrong earlier?
We are like one of the speakers.
Okay, after this short introduction, I would suggest you guys say a few words about your background and what are you doing, like 1 minute, personal pitch. Yeah, let's start like... Turn on the mic, I think it's...
You hear me? Oh, okay, now it's okay. Going backwards, before starting and running my venture funds, Maxwell Capital, I spent about 2 years as chief of IT cluster for Skolkovo Foundation. Beforehand, I used to serve as CEO of MySpace in Eastern Europe. And beforehand, I spent a lot of time with IBM, so it's a long story. Enough about myself, or what?
Yeah, what
about my fund. Okay, so it's a venture fund, early stage venture fund. We are up and running for about 1 year, year and a half probably. Why I'm on this stage? The main reason is that we are investing in companies working in e-health area. And most of our investments are in cloud, one way or another related to cloud infrastructure.
Okay, great. Thank you, Alex. Bakhrom?
Okay, so about myself, I started my career in doing technology investment banking in Europe. Then I moved to internet corporate, was a CFO with the internet business there. And after that was doing 10 years venture capital investments across Western Europe, US, and Israel. And 3 years ago, I came to EBRD to set up a technology venture capital facility. It's 100 million euros to do technology venture capital across the EBRD countries of operations. Those are former Soviet Union, new entrants into European Union, Turkey, and Northern Africa. So far, we've been investing for the past 2 years. We have 6 portfolio companies. We invest between 1 to 10 million euros.
Thank you, Bakhrom. Michał?
Hi, so I'm Michał, and I don't have so long history behind me, but I'm the CEO and co-founder of the company called Brainly. And Brainly is the biggest worldwide social learning network, and we reach like 35 million unique users monthly. The idea is pretty simple, so it's homework hub, people coming to the website to ask questions, and a huge community of students helping each other, so yeah.
Okay, thank you. So we have 2 investors and 1 founder, CEO of a startup here to talk about cloud. And I was thinking actually, cloud is a very broad notion. So I was thinking what angle should be interesting to you guys. And we decided that probably we should talk about opportunities in the cloud. Like what are really consumer-oriented opportunities? What are the areas where you might think of starting your company? And from our perspective, there are like 3 massive niches for consumers which are currently being disrupted by cloud technologies. One is, let's say, the most obvious one is fintech, financial technologies. Another one, and Michal is the good example of that, Brainly is a good example of that, it's Edutech, educational technologies, cloud for education. And finally, the last one, which is moving not so fast, but also clearly moving, it's digital healthcare, so cloud for healthcare. So these 3 things. Let's probably start with education, and I give the floor to Michal. Why did you start Brainly, and how did you come to the idea of education in the cloud?
Okay, so in fact, the model is like you can observe the kids helping each other in school or after school. So they are communicating, they are asking questions, they are following up, diving deeper into the subjects. So in fact, the idea behind Brainly is to move this behavior to online. So in that way, that's cloud. So we are taking the whole knowledge that kids share between each other, we put it online, but then we increase the connection by allowing them to ask following up questions and to receive the answers also from experts. But for sure, this is not the only model. It's like the whole school management systems, class management systems. These are the new ways of moving the offline behaviors to cloud and to leverage on the data that are already there.
What do you think are the winning monetization models in Edutech? Because especially when it comes to school children and schools, many people say, oh, this is not really kind of ethical to charge school children for any services. What would be the winning monetization model?
Yeah, so for me, it's all about parents. So it's about the way how the startups can convince parents to pay for the premium services on the platform. So for me, it's like kids are helping each other, but always they will have some more advanced questions that needs to be answered by experts. And this is for sure the business model that we want to leverage on. So the premium service, the premium answers, the premium help from experts that we verified and that were socially verified. So for me, in our example, that's that. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good point. I think being a parent, I can tell you that you don't need very strong arguments for a parent to invest into education of my kids. Actually, it's the easiest way to get money out of from me.
Yeah, in fact, we somehow get some work from you to us, and then you will have some more time to spend with your kids on having fun, etc.
Okay, good. Thank you. Question to Bakhrom. I know you, well, as EBRD representative, you obviously know a lot about finance. And I know you are doing some deals or looking at some deals in digital healthcare. Which space is kind of more exciting for you? Is it healthcare or finance?
Well, I would think actually if we were to speak about really moving the enterprise software, ERP systems to the cloud, financial institutions is a very difficult vertical to penetrate. I mean, as we know, the first movers to the cloud, and this is a continued environment today, are SMEs and mid-market. Just because the dependence of the cloud for financial institutions, the legacy code which is present there is enormous. So I would think this is if we're talking about the ERP, that's probably a very difficult subject to develop at the moment for the large financial institutions. But at the same time, I think coming back to what are the kind of models, opportunities involved, right? I think generally today cloud is much more successful in certain verticals, be it industry verticals or functional verticals. Point solutions. Why point solutions? Because those point solutions, they basically offer a very clear value proposition. One. Second, I think the main benefit of the cloud is actually, we talk a lot about the cost, we talk a lot about support, but actually I think today still the main benefit of the cloud is scalability. So if you have a problem in a corporate, what the cloud offers to you is actually implement something very quickly and scale up this capacity or scale down this capacity. So coming back to your question on the financial institutions, I think the financial institutions space, I would think that the more interesting opportunities, again, they're centered around specific pain points, be those CRM for financial institutions, be those HR management for financial institutions, and also maybe some of the consumer applications for the microfinancing consumer applications, or actually maybe developing brand new banking models. Just I think, like in your case, you have a portfolio company in that space. So I think financial institutions offers interesting opportunities, but those are really point solutions. Coming back to the medicine, I would think this is actually vertical that that can be very interestingly addressed by the cloud. Why? Because specifically, if you were to look at the clinics, small clinics in many other countries, which are basically most countries are developed on, they have there is a very little penetration of any code, right? So there isn't much to displace, and you can offer some very clear case benefits, implementation benefits. And the other interesting thing as well, the advantage and disadvantage of the cloud is that actually most of the time when you talk about SaaS, it is the single code, single instance software, multi-tenant. And by addressing the large SME base, such as private clinics, you can offer that benefit of the very clear user proposition and a solution that addresses many different issues for them.
Okay, thank you. Before I pass the word to Alex, I want to mention that Bakhrom made a very good point. Both finance institutions and medical institutions, they're not so keen of moving their back-end applications to the cloud, but they're quite interested in moving their customer-facing applications to the cloud. So clearly, if you are thinking about a new business in this space, you should rather think of a front-end customer-facing application rather than back-end. Alex, what you experienced with cloud in finance or healthcare? No. Which one is your preferred?
We don't have much experience with finance, and again, as far as we're concerned, I'm concerned, there are a couple of obstacles, and one, in fact, serious obstacle for, say, explicit or rapid moving of serious financial applications to the cloud, and it is, first of all, the security. And however you call it, private data or sensitive data or data under regulation or geographical restrictions for the data. This is one of probably most serious obstacles. We spoke like recently with Sberbank guys about that, and they don't see that most of their core applications will be moved to the cloud environment soon. But what I wanted to mention is probably just crossed my mind during our conversation here, is that we are talking about verticals, the industrial verticals. But what is important from cloud perspective is that cloud gives significant advantage or significant benefit to some specific horizontal, to small and medium businesses. The businesses which don't have enough resources to support their own IT divisions, to pay expensive license fees, just to have, let's say, a comprehensive, a sophisticated IT environment for themselves. So for them, moving to cloud is probably most beneficial part. And as far as I can see, and I support Bakhrom on this issue, that various CRM, sales systems, HR systems, supply systems, and so on and so forth, endless list, may be easily scaled and moved to cloud and consumed, paid by consumption, which is probably most significant benefit today for small and medium businesses. And small clinics and small healthcare businesses is definitely part of it, as well as, I don't know, small insurance agencies.
Okay, yeah, that's clearly a big niche or big space, rather, the business applications for small, medium enterprise that create the whole ecosystem in the cloud. Okay, we heard about some challenges on healthcare side and finance side. What are the biggest challenges in education? What is your really big problems to solve?
I think that the main problem is how reluctant the whole system is to change. So in fact, the system is the same on every of those countries that we know for last 20 or 50 years. So there are not so many changes, and when someone brings a new thing to the educational system, it's often not so welcome, and it's hard to implement it. But what we see is the change over the time, especially looking at the problems. For example, in the United States, the whole educational system is so polarized that there is a huge spending on those who have money for a good education, and really low spendings on the people that cannot afford a great services. And for sure, people see the gap. It's getting more and more obvious, and they consider that all the cloud-based services like school management systems, some customer-based services, they can help to fill this gap between those two groups who can afford and cannot afford a good education.
Okay, that's fair point. Another question now to Bakhrom. When we talk about cloud, for me, actually, cloud is not the only revolution that is going on. Another big thing that is happening is mobilization. The penetration of smart devices is growing at amazing pace, and cloud being the back end, front end is clearly the mobile. So what should be the strategy between mobile and the web, if we think about any cloud application, consumer-facing cloud application?
Yes, you're right. I think that cloud actually cloud intersects with a number of the major technology shifts right now taking place in these both mobile proliferation of mobile devices. The other big themes that it intersects deeply. Big data, because with the cloud, with the APIs, you can build very interesting big data applications and mine a lot of data from different sources and present some very interesting solutions. And the other also interesting space that it obviously intersects is Internet of Things. This is basically ubiquitous cloud by itself, right? But coming back to your point on the mobile, I think mobile obviously offers tremendous opportunities. One, for example, opportunity we are looking closely is, and it's again coming to the topic that you raised before, is healthcare, right? So actually coming up, there are companies which are from day one focused on mobile-only applications. And in the healthcare, you have a very big problem of the direct sales of the new drugs, direct sales of the new medical solutions, and the mobile aspect, and actually a point solution, mobile point solution, CRM point solutions, they offer a very unique kind of proposition to in that space. So it does change, it does accelerate the cloud rollout, and specifically it does offer, I believe it does offer opportunities only where you actually start with the mobile-only business, as opposed to actually thinking about as an add-on. You can think about that as a primarily mobile-based solution.
Okay, good. Alex, you mentioned the number of applications, cloud applications for medium business, small medium business, but we've seen that some of niches are pretty crowded. Like cloud CRM is something which became a commodity. I've met dozens of startups developing cloud CRM. Which is within this space, the business application, which are still hot and not so competitive, in your opinion?
Business applications, well, I don't know. The verticals, very focused ones. I mean, the more universal applications are trying to be, the more crowded area is, of course. But there are some lines of business which are not moved to cloud yet, just because nobody thought about that. But what I wanted to mention in the context of cloud is a different thing. That cloud is, again, is a common word, is a hype word of it. But cloud is only part of ecosystem, and we already mentioned that mobile is another part of it, and wearable devices or Internet of Things are wearable devices in the context of e-health is another big thing, and wearable is not working without cloud, of course, because otherwise it's like, you know, a very simplified and basic device. I don't remember if I told you the story. A couple of months ago, I spoke with the CEO of Jobon. The guy runs a very successful company. They have, about 200 million users worldwide. And I asked him, what's the future? What are they going to do? He said, you know what? We don't know yet. We know that we have big data. And we don't know yet how to use it and what to do with it. But there are certain things which we, as a cloud-based big data application, can tell you for certain. Such as I said, for example, we know for sure that women sleep 25 minutes more than men. And I said, well, how come? Well, you know, we have 160 million measurements every day, every single day. And this is for sure. You know, so it's not theory and it's not an approximation. So again, cloud, we don't know yet how to use the whole power and the whole ecosystem of cloud, but definitely wearables and big data is the next big thing.
Okay, that's very useful information about women. I will keep in mind. By the way, you guys, if you have questions, just wave your hand, and I think there is a mic in the audience. Yeah, please. Do you have a mic there? Microphone? Guys, can you help me? Microphone to this. Okay, so far I give you mine. I give you mine.
Thank you. The first question is how to prove, you said the enterprises, they are fearing of cloud, how to prove to enterprises that cloud is safe, because they mostly say we don't want the information to leak, whatever. What are your ideas on that?
How to prove
that flying planes is safe or driving car is safe. You know, it will be a common things next. I mean, in next period of time, a very close period of time. Of course, first of all, there are a lot of companies. We all, as potential investors, went through zillions of applications dealing with data security, data protection, data transformation protection, and so on and so forth on cloud. And we all know that there are certain regulations even allowing or disallowing some data to be located on the cloud or not to be located on the cloud. So again, but you can't make sure that data is safe on the cloud as well as you cannot make sure that data is safe on your hard disk. I mean, there are certain levels of trust and the progress.
Yes, but the way I was asking it, for example, I met in London, there is a digital alliance which is includes BMW, UBS, and the cloud providers. They are together to talk about to make a new standard of cloud safety, because BMW is saying we have 1 gigabyte information from one car each day or each second, I don't remember, or each minute. And they say we don't believe in cloud-based providers and cloud-based services because we are afraid that the information will leak. That's why
the history of the last couple of years has shown us that you know, nothing is protected.
Yes,
history
true.
of Snowden, or the history of WikiLeaks, and so on and so forth. It's not a question of cloud. It's a question of technology, question of discipline, question of protocols.
Yeah, my favorite question was that how you prefer to kind of keep your money, on the mattress or in the bank? Maybe 100 years ago, many people, they preferred to keep money on the mattress or kind of put it into a pot in their backyard and on the ground. But, you know, time changes. As long as technology develops and perception changes, I think more and more people feel comfortable about storing their data outside of their reach.
Okay. Yeah, maybe you can try also to, you know, to find a way how to actually keep the money in the bank, but you know, with some transition process. So there are some of the companies who are thinking about the different models, like, you know, like you can have application running in the cloud, but database is actually sitting on premise, right? So this kind of models, which is more kind of soft transition to the cloud, or selling software with an option actually to switch between the cloud and between on-premise. But then, the main I think, like with any sales process, is actually focus on what are the main pain points, right? And for large enterprises, they're not really looking for the decrease their cost, but they're primarily looking how to scale very quickly some application, and that's probably related to some very specific business function.
Okay, yeah, thank you. One more point that they were looking for, from the BMW and UBS guys were telling me that they want to have the same standard different providers so they could switch, because one of their risks is that they will stick to one provider, one cloud provider, and then they will not be able to switch to different, or it will be risky, painfully, or to pay a lot of money will be needed to do that. So they also want to be able to switch from different providers as one of the point of their risks. I wanted to know your point of view. I was saying that it is other sorts from data alliance that was created by large enterprises that's facing such an issues as well. Thank you.
Did you get the question?
Yeah, so I think
can you just summarize short? What is the question?
The last was the comment, like the additional, what you were saying, that they also see the risk if they will stick to one cloud provider, and they will not be able easily to transfer all the data from one cloud provider to another.
Okay, this is kind of lock-in problem.
Yeah,
Is it a real problem? The lock-in, data lock-in?
It is, I guess, from my perspective, it is a real problem, because what often happens, it takes a lot of time to transfer data to the cloud, and what companies finding is that when they want to migrate to some other solution, actually they get the data, but in another format, right? So the format that is actually not very usable. So it is definitely a problem, and it is one of the obstacles for the cloud, or actually one of the questions / concerns on the cloud adoption.
Yeah, good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. More questions? Yeah. Can somebody help me with the mic and the? Okay, thanks.
Hi. It's actually a follow-up question. I sort of agree with consensus of this gentleman. As a customer, I completely understand that cloud is a fantastic tool and can be used very successfully by big, small, medium companies. But as a customer, for example, I faced it myself. When someone offered me to go to cloud with my data, honestly, maybe it's not intelligent decision, but I said, guys, look, I am not yet sure. And your example about keeping money on the mattress or in bank, yes, I prefer to keep in bank. When it comes to clouds, I prefer to keep data on my computer. And probably it's not a problem of a cloud itself, but maybe lack of education about using cloud intelligently. I would love to get one-page marks description that would, highlight this is fantastic advantages you can gain by using clouds, and address, I think, quite natural concerns of people to use clouds. It's not yet as widespread phenomena. Thank you.
Okay, let me ask you, or rather the whole audience, when you say you do not feel comfortable with keeping your data in the cloud, is it because you are afraid to lose the data, or this is because you're afraid of your kind of privacy? Let's vote just.
Actually,
what is the biggest threat? Loss of data or lack of privacy? Data, loss of data. How many people think that loss of data is a serious problem? Okay. How many people think that privacy is a more serious problem? Okay. At first glance, privacy is more an issue.
Actually, I would love to add, if I may. Excuse me, I would love to add about this point. For me personally, it would be more privacy if I talk about my personal data, and it would be I would be more concerned about loss of data if I talk about using clouds for my business.
Good. Fair point. What do you think, guys? Is privacy an issue? Michał, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that privacy is an issue. Looking at the risk to lose my data, I always were losing my data when those were on my computer, not the cloud is helping me to find the data when I lost my computer, for example. But the privacy is really like a big issue for me personally when I use some of those services, like even like a Facebook. Yeah? You put some data there and these are easily accessible, etc. But still, it's more about what I put there. It's not still about what I am forced to put there. So still the problem is not so visible. At some point it will be, especially when all of those government organizations will move to cloud and we will have to fill some forms there and those data will be somehow secured, but we can never know how good are those protected. Yeah, then.
Okay. What do you think, guys? How this problem may be solved? Clearly, for healthcare and finance, privacy is a big issue.
And again, the important point is that the whole cloud story, the whole cloud ecosystem, is probably in very beginning of the story, probably in kindergarten. But definitely there are two serious problems. So when you compare losing data versus compromising data, and losing data was always a problem for mainframe applications and client-server applications, so on and so forth. So there are solutions, and there will be solutions. Acronis, for example,
backup.
One of them.
Right. Back up your data.
Buy Acronis. It's a Runa portfolio company. This is why I mentioned it. There are solutions quite safe. I mean, as always, backup and recovery was always an issue, and it is resulting. Compromising data, again, paranoia, I mean, good paranoia is important, and it is probably also a driver of the progress of the security instruments and security tools and so on and so forth. But guys, don't forget, your data is compromised already whenever you use it and however you use it. On your mobile phones, on your tablets, on your PCs, once you connect, even through most comprehensive and sophisticated firewall, you connect to the network, to the internet. Be ready that your data, I mean, it's a question only of costs and efforts, but your data is not secure. So if you decide to isolate yourself completely, so never connect to internet. If you decide to connect, then it doesn't matter, in fact, are you on one node or on cloud?
That's actually a very good point. I know one guy who is paranoid about privacy. So this guy is not using digital data at all, not even on standalone PC. He's not using mobile phone for any conversations, and he's not using credit cards because he believes that he uses credit cards only to withdraw cash because he doesn't want his purchase data be kind of found by anyone.
And actually, if I can add it, I mean, the discussion should not be cloud versus security. This is not. I think this is not the kind of the point, but security is an issue, whether you have it on-premise or in the cloud, right? And actually cloud, it addresses a number of the business issues, including the security. There are some security cloud companies that actually help enterprise software to be more secure. What you can do, you can put all the signatures live, signatures database of all the viruses in the cloud, and that, have recognition of all those viruses, all those instances, in the real time, deploying the signature base, which is actually stored in the cloud. That's one of the applications. So cloud actually addresses many business issues, including security of the on-premise enterprise software.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Thank you. That's actually, we should not compromise cloud. More questions? Okay, then I have a question to Michał, which I wanted to ask in the beginning. You have your service working in several markets, like it's Poland, Ukraine, Russia, Indonesia, US, what else? Turkey. Is there big difference between the markets in their perception of cloud services and in their perception of the front end between web and mobile, or what is the difference?
Yeah, I think that the usage is different. So some of those people want to use the website more as a social network. The other countries can use it like more as a tool to get help fast. So I think it's more about the usage. It's not about taking care more or less about how secure it is, or maybe what are the issues about that. This is not really a problem. People just, in different cultures, they behave in a different way. So they use the tools that the companies develop in different ways. So, and we somehow, looking at our product development, need to make sure that all of them can use the website and the service, and that's the point that we have to do. Yeah?
Okay, thank you. Then I have an interesting question to investors. Do you have any idea in mind? You are investors, which you really believe is very appealing as a business idea, and which you would invest immediately in if the team is strong enough? Any idea of a cloud application that you believe is kind of in great demand? Why? I can tell you my idea if you want. I mean, I would invest immediately if someone would create, imagine a medical Dropbox. You know, I have 2 kids and my wife collects all their medical data from their birth. So it's like 2 large files full of all kind of, you know, shit, documents, diagrams, tables, and blah, blah, blah. And that's just 2 big binders. And then each time we visit a new doctor, he asks, bring your medical records with you, please. And then my wife carries the binders. And I was thinking about like a medical Dropbox, which would be easy to upload all kind of medical data in different formats. You know, there are all kind of digital data. There are paper data. There are pictures. Like medical Dropbox or medical Evernote, which could be shared with the doctors. I think that's just a brilliant idea. Anything else in your mind?
I like the idea of, I mean, Internet of Things related stuff, you know, sensors and smart houses, and human beings as a part of Internet of Things ecosystem, because they're also things, in fact, and this is so wearables, sensors, cloud, and everything around. I mean, if the team is strong, then I believe there is a lot of money in that.
Bakhrom?
Oh, I think you led to that question well, because I think, you know, where we would love to invest in the cloud, actually, the verticals, education, and the financial institutions, these are the great verticals that actually innovation hasn't changed a lot so far. And these are the verticals where there are a lot of opportunities to come up with new products and improve the existing offerings in the markets. There isn't any kind of magic theme that we would invest. You know, we really like, and that doesn't really relate to the cloud specifically, but we're really looking for entrepreneurs who address a very specific point, who can articulate the point very, very well, and who address very specific point, and who are deeply passionate about it. It's not about, you know, it's deeply passionate about the problem. It's not about, you know, this is basically. The greatest story is not about this is where I can make money, but the greatest story is about, look, this has actually created a lot of pain point for me, and I have created a product, and I want people to improve their daily lifestyle by deploying that. So that's, I guess, kind of more important side.
Okay, thank you, Bakhrom. And the same question to Michal. Although you are not an investor, but still you are expert in education. What do you think we need in education space, in e-learning, cloud education? What kind of empty spaces there?
Yeah, I think it's out about the tutoring services, so some private stuff that you can use externally outside of your school. So there are some ideas, but nobody is doing that really well. So for me, this is a really, really interesting space.
Good. Thank you very much for your thoughts and insights. I hope you found this interesting and helpful in your future. Are we out of time or still have time for a couple of questions? Okay. Good. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.